today and tomorrow, we're working on the presentation outline. And this is just a screenshot of the document, and I'm going to go through these directions with you. So there's 4 steps to this, and today we're working on the first 3. So step 1 is to just copy and paste your references from your sources document from last week to your outline in the references spot. So step 1, you're just copying and pasting. Step 2 is to look at that evidence that you gathered in your sources document last week and break it up into some some categories that evidence fits in, so that when you are presenting, you're not kind of jumping all over the place. So step 2 is to kind of think about how you're going to organize your evidence. And then step 3 is to actually organize it. So you'll copy and paste your references. Sorry, give me 1 second. Somebody's trying to get it. Okay, so you'll copy and paste your references, come up with some big ideas that you want to hit in your presentation. So maybe you'll do like how, if you're doing like the history of a sport, I know a couple people are doing that. Maybe your big ideas will be like when it first started, how it is now, and how it's different from then and now, or like a comparison. So whatever your big ideas are based on your evidence, and then you'll just copy and paste that evidence over. Then step 4, which again, we're going to be working on tomorrow, is the rest of your presentation. So like the title, the introduction, and the conclusion. So we've got 4 pieces of this: your references, your big ideas, your evidence, and then your title, introduction, and conclusion. And this is what this will look like when it is complete. So this is my example. You guys have access to this document so you can look at it to see what it looks like when it's finished. You've got the presentation title, the background information, and then my big idea and the evidence that goes with it. Big idea and evidence, big idea and evidence, conclusion, and references. Okay, so this is what this looks like when it's done. So what everyone's gonna do right now is open your sources assignment from last week in one tab and your presentation outline for this week in another tab. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple of minutes to get both of those things open. And then we will go from there. So go ahead and open both the links I just sent in the chat. Step 1 is to copy and paste each of your references from the blue column of your sources assignment into the blue box of your presentation outline. So you're going to take what you put in that reference box where it's got like the author's last name, the year, and then it ends with the URL. You're just going to copy that over and paste it into your slide 7 references box of your outline. You don't need to do anything with those in-text citations yet. You're just going to copy and paste those references over. It is helpful if you paste them over in alphabetical order because they will need to be in alphabetical order when you actually put them on your slide. So if you put them in alphabetical order now, you're going to save yourself a step later on. Okay? So right now you're just copying and pasting from column 6 into slide 7. All right, you should be wrapping up with your references at this point, and your slide 7 box should be complete. So come on back over to Zoom, and we're going to move on to step 2. So in step 2, you're going to take a look at that evidence that you gathered last week, and you're going to figure out what categories or big ideas you can break your information into in order to organize the information that you found. So you're going to take a look at your evidence and see Like, what three categories could you break it into to make sense of and organize that evidence? So, like I said before, if you're doing like the history of a sport, you could say, like one slide might be when it first started, another slide might be what it's like now, and then your third slide might be a comparison between the two. Or you might have when it first started, what it was like 50 years after it started, and what it's like now. Whatever your evidence kind of helps break it up into. You're going to take that big idea and you're just going to fill it out in that yellow highlight part. So this box here was mostly about the album sales by CSPC. So what I did, I said, okay, well, that whole box is about that. So I'm going to make a slide about that. And I said, that is what this slide's going to be about. Then my third source gave me what the album sales were from like a traditional sales point. So I said, okay, I've got my CSPC album sales, I've got my traditional album sales. Those are two big ideas. And then my third is an analysis of the comparison between the two and why they don't necessarily line up. Okay, so right now, all you're going to do is figure out what the three big ideas are for your presentation and your topic, and fill those in the yellow highlight area. So step 3 is to now organize your evidence. So you took those big ideas, and now you're going to take the evidence that goes with each of those big ideas and put them in the green boxes. So you might have evidence from more than one source that goes with the same big idea. That is absolutely okay. So we're just kind of organizing our evidence around now. So when I filled mine out, I copied this whole box and I pasted it into big idea 1, and I copied the in-text citation and put it right underneath of it. Because, and this was true for me especially, I had 2 sources with the same author. So I needed to remember that this evidence goes with this source and this evidence goes with this source, because I was using 2 different sources for the same big idea. So you're going to take your evidence, copy it into the appropriate column, and make sure that you bring that in-text citation and put it right after it so you remember which source it came from. If you are someone that only has orange boxes left, the bottom half of this slide is going to help you with those orange boxes. So you do not have to answer all of these questions. They are just to get you thinking about what to put in those boxes. So if you're working on your presentation title, you'll think about what your presentation is about, what's the overall topic, and then you'll give it a name and put that in the presentation title slide content. Your title can be basic or it can be clever. It's up to you. It doesn't have to be like anything special. It can just be literally what your topic is. Your introduction and background area, that's where you're going to consider what your audience needs to know about your topic before you can present the information that you found in your research. So what definitions or explanations might they need in order to understand what you're talking about? That's going to be in your introduction slide. And then the last part, the last orange box, is your conclusion. And that is to think about, and these are, again, just suggestions. You don't have to answer all of these questions, but what does all of your evidence suggest, point to, or prove? What have you learned as a result of the research? What further investigation is needed to answer any lingering questions you or your audience may have? And is there anything people should do as a result of learning about what you've presented? So again, these on the slide are just guiding questions to help you with those orange boxes. But everyone is just kind of picking up wherever it is they left off and working to get this outline completed today. So you want to make sure that you submit your completed outline by the end of the day, because tomorrow we are going to use these outlines to start drafting your slides. If you need help with your outline or any of the previous pieces of the project, you can come to office hours between 12:30 and 2:30 today. If you can't make it to office hours, but you need help, please send me a Schoology message and I will be happy to help you through messages. So you want to make sure you get your outline completed and submitted so that tomorrow you are good to go for drafting. If you don't have any questions, I hope you have a great day and I will see you tomorrow morning.